Hello all, my name is Sam, or Samuel, whichever you prefer, and welcome to my attempt at a mono-psychic Pokemon Platinum Hardcore Nuzlocke challenge. Before you make the conscious decision to proceed any further, I'd like to make it known, this is an entirely non-valid run that wasn't noticed until the 5th gym. Had I not just dedicated 3 weeks to recording footage, I would have just scrapped this entire run, but honestly there's some really noteworthy bits that may inspire someone more talented than me to try and do a legitimate run. The illegitimacy starts right off the bat when I pick up a Psyduck, in hopes of running a Golduck. Now you may be thinking, isn't Golduck just water? And yeah, they are. But I ran the last 3 weeks of my life under the assumption that they are the water psychic type, just like Starmie. If you're still intrigued and wonder how on earth I can be so dense, then keep watching, and we'll take this partial journey together. The Psychic type, despite Nintendo's best efforts, remain an extremely powerful type. With high damaging moves, they have tons of utility in other moves as well, helping round out their deficiencies. They are a little scary for Nuzlockes in general though, because typically Psychic type Pokemon are usually glass cannons, dealing out big damage but unable to take it in return. Platinum has a fairly diverse range of Psychic types at our disposal, with most of them being available in the first half of the game. Here's what I'm able to work with. To quickly summarize a hardcore Nuzlocke rule set, it's fainted Pokemon are dead, the first encounter on a route is your only allowed capture, no bag items in battle, no leveling past the next gym leader's highest level Pokemon, all captures must be nicknamed. Alright, with that being said, I'm going to continue with a little further introduction. After finishing my Emerald Nuzlocke, I googled an image of all the available types, assigned a number value randomly to each one, and did a random number generator to choose the type. I chose Platinum, as I heard it was one of the harder games to Nuzlocke, and if I'm going to be honest, I didn't grow up with Sinnoh. I played Gen 1, 2, 3, and then when Gen 4 came out, I had drifted away from Pokemon for a brief period. I didn't buy another newly released game until Gen 5, so I just entirely skipped these games. Let's see how it went. So I started the game up, Rowan gives me the traditional spiel, verifies my gender. Very 2006 of him. I'll name myself Sam, for now. Rowan asked my rival's name, real fresh of breath air from your neighbor May/Brandon. Sam backwards is Mas, which is more in Spanish, so I named him More. This dingleberry runs upstairs and jabbers on about something. I wasn't paying attention. I changed my game to the appropriate settings. Mom gently reminds me to be nice to the neighbor boy and just humor him. I go over to his house and his mom basically asks me to do the same thing. Moore comes up with a foolproof plan to, scooch from patch to patch of grass. Rowan disagrees with this idea, proceeds to give me horrible flashbacks to parent-teacher conferences. Despite Rowan's entirely valid concerns, he gives us Pokemon anyways. I choose Chimchar. This way, Moore gets Piplup, and Steel typing gets a resistance to Psychic, which should prove to be an entirely new layer of difficulty. I narrowly scraped through the battle with just 1 HP left. This battle certainly won't prove difficult in potential future attempts. Moore decides it's time to engage a legendary Pokemon with his level 5 Piplup. Even hypothetically, this doesn't go well. After receiving my Pokédex, Dawn rejects my advances and tells me to go tell my mommy first. After Mom, almost too quickly, agrees to let me start my solo trek across the country, Dawn teaches me how to catch beavers. Thanks, I guess? I make my way to Jubilife, anxious to get my real starter, when I meet this charming fellow who I really like. Pokemon does him wrong by labeling him shady? That's not fair. This guy's just a goober, and you can label me a looker fan. Or, a looker hooker. I track down some clowns to get a phone. I do a quick bit of math, just because I can. More goes down without any drama at all. Not realizing I had a valid starter encounter before the cave, I catch a Psyduck first. Again, believing they eventually become psychic. I've chosen a famous magician's theme for my nicknames. I name my Psyduck Mind Freak. I then box Chimchar forever. I train on Mind Freak for a little while before realizing, Hachi Machi, there's an Abra in here, grass patches. I catch one and name him Houdini. I continue training on Mind Freak while switch training Houdini and make my way to this humble bragging loser. Once Mind Freak matches the level cap, I breeze through Rourke's team with, how do I put this tactfully? Ease. Roland handles this group of uncouth troublemakers. This kid thinks his father's magic card means something to Chris Angel. Mind freak.
I will remember you.
This double battle catches me off guard and ends attempt 1. Moore kills me in the first battle, ending attempt 2. And attempt 3. But not attempt 4. Right away I run to Route 203 to catch Abra first, as it's technically my first available psychic encounter, even if Psyduck would make the run easier. Houdini joins back up and I teach him Return right away. For those unfamiliar with Return, which is unlikely, Return does physical normal damage based on your friendship with a Pokemon. There's a few ways to grind up friendship. The safest being walking 256 steps with the Pokemon at the head of the party. The less safe and faster way is by leveling them up. I start trying to grind up friendship with some basic running. When that takes too long, I mix it up with fighting some level 2 Starlies. As you can probably imagine, this takes a very, very long time. I level up Houdini to 11, where I feel I can comfortably not die to a level 5 Psyduck. Mind Freak comes back on board to stupefy and amaze. I level up Mind Freak to 14 and breeze through Rourke again. With the level cap increased, I can bring Houdini up to 16 and become a viable team member / Kadabra. I handily dispatch these small twins. Not having lived under a rock and being somewhat aware of the upcoming Perugly, I level up Houdini to 20 and Mind Freak up to 21. Houdini sends a Confusion off on the Zubat, killing it quickly. When Perugly comes out, I try to shoot off another Confusion but get faked out. The second turn, I land a Confusion, shave off over half, but the Oranberry brings Perugly out of what I would believe to be one-shot range. When Feint Attack brings Houdini down to 9 HP, Mind Freak comes out, his Solar Water typing helped tank a Feint Attack, and finish the battle with a couple of water guns, after being sunk down to just 4 HP. Mars stomps her feet around Veruca Salt style and evacuates. Looker comes back and says something like, "I'm here to help." "Alright, you're welcome. Carry on." Realizing the next level cap was very close, I do my absolute best to avoid any more battles. This weirdo is having a private conversation with his dog statue before we interrupt him. Walking into the grass gym, I realize that I'm in a tight situation with the level cap, because for some reason we're required to fight all 3 of the trainers. Houdini unfortunately levels up to 23, so I think maybe I can eke by with Psyduck, but after being walled by a Badoo on the next trainer, attempt number 4 ends. Attempt 5 ends when I accidentally get into a trainer battle while trying to find a Psyduck, and a Starly kills Houdina, the female Abra. Attempt 6 goes further than 5, Mind Freak is female this time, Rourke causes no issues, and I stop my leveling at 18. I open with Mind Freak, but she just barely leaves Zubat alive and gets poisoned. Perugly hits a nasty critical hit fake out, Oranberry brings me back up, and Poison brings me back down. Hoping the Kadabra can make some progress, I bring him out, and after bringing Perugly only down to about half, Perugly kills Houdini and Mind Freak. This ends attempt 6. The first notable difference is that I've decided to preserve my sanity and start my run from Route 203, skipping over the tutorial section. If that delegitimizes the run, then too late. Psyduck beat me there. Next I catch Houdini with a Premier Ball that I threw on a whim, so that was really exciting. I never realized the Premier Ball Pokemon have a fun little ball animation when they're sent out. Neat. Hours of grinding, Rourke goes down, and I level Mind Freak up to 20 knowing he won't be much help in the grass gym anyways. See, I'm learning. With a Pecha Berry attached to him this time around, I lead Mind Freak on Mars and get rid of Zubat pretty easily. Perugly works him down to 7 HP when I pull a Hail Mary and send out Houdini. Perugly outspeeds though and ends attempt 7. I did take this time to familiarize myself with Sinnoh a little more though. I played through just to get my bearings and get more of a solid game plan, especially with that Ghost Gym Leader which I've been racking my brain over. And I played through that battle a lot, testing out strategies and moves. I even friendship biked up an Espeon just to try out, but Espeon doesn't learn any psychic moves for a hot minute, so they're basically useless for the Ghost Gym. Attempt 8 goes swimmingly. Wait, actually no, a Shellos kills Houdini. Attempt 9 opens with another Premier Ball captured Houdini, and Mars wipes me again. Attempt 10 hits all the same notes except I make it through Mars, opting for a Rock Smash strategy this time around. and I keep training normally until this moment. For the first time in my 22 years of playing the Pokemon franchise, I found this sweet shiny Psyduck. I named him Mindfreak! Because I was very excited. I stopped everything I was doing just to explain to my wife why this was so exciting. She smiled patiently and told me, "Well, that's cool." She means well. Unfortunately, I thought it'd be unfair if I used this Psyduck to proceed with the story unless it matched the previous Psyduck's level, as overleveling has been an issue for the Eterna gym. So I spent the time to get my shiny up to 21, so the only difference was a worse nature. The old Psyduck was modest, which is pretty awesome, and the new one is neutral. I make it to Eterna City, and I've left my team levels in positions to be able to work through the gym without overleveling. Houdini leads the battle at a high 22, having been pumped full of special attack EVs. He lands a nasty confusion when Turtwig sets up a useless reflect. RIP Turtle Dude. Sharam comes out, and I stay true with the throw confusions forever strategy. After another useless setup move by Sharam, Safeguard neither guards nor makes the psychic battlefield any safer. Gardenia then tells me it's not the end yet. So I snag up the second badge and take the time to get my team leveled up for the upcoming Skuntank, which, during my failed Attempt 7 test run, wiped me multiple times. Right before heading to the battle, I remember that I'm not just limited to these two, and that I have another couple of encounters that I probably could have brought with me to the Eterna gym as well. So I pick up a Meditite, who I named David Blaine, and a Bronzor that I named Copperfield, after David Copperfield. I spent a long time killing Ghastlies for their decent chunk of experience and also the special attack EVs. And then I learn about the feature known as the Underground. Hoping I can get some hold items, and not realizing just how unlikely they are, I spend hours down there. After no success with finding a mind plate, I load up Houdini with Thief and start slaughtering Abras back on Route 203. Like an estranged aunt at Grandpa's will reading, I was looking for spoons. It took me about 30 minutes, which, considering the odds, I'm not too upset over. My computer crashes after I defeat Jupiter. Both my Bronzor and Meditite died during this. That Skuntank is really no joke. During that same corrupted recording, I catch a Chingling and name it after Teller, the loudest magician I could think of, and a Ralts that I name Pen. I pick up the EV in Hearthome City and name him Tom Mullica, after that one magician who eats like 100 lit cigarettes during one of his sets. It's great stuff, go look it up. Fearing for the Ghost Gym coming up, I decided to take just way too much time to get my team up to snuff. Unfortunately though, Chingling and Eevee both require high/max friendships to get to evolve. Without a level restriction, I would normally just level up and do it organically, but I'm against the level line, so I turn on a podcast and just start biking. Starting at about 45,000 steps, I start trying out a few different back and forth stretches. I take a little break to, just, enjoy the evening. After that well-deserved break, I keep biking up until both Eevee and Chingling's friendships are maxed out, and my step count at roughly 87,000. I love spending my Fridays like this, in case it isn't obvious yet. I leave Tom at 22, as he actually doesn't have any moves that can even touch the Ghost Leader. But everyone else is maxed out, and with a meticulous plan in mind, I go into battle. I lead with Mindfreak against Fantina. Duskull unfortunately does open with an obnoxious Will-O-Wisp, putting Mindfreak on a timer. After 2 water pulses, Miss Magius comes out. I get off 1 water pulse on her before switching to Teller the Chimecho to try and bait a Shadow Ball, and then to disable it afterwards. Unfortunately, Chimecho is a calculated sack here. As much as I don't want to knowingly throw away any of my limited options, Chimecho does his job and goes down. Houdini comes in and disables the Shadow Ball. Knowing without Shadow Ball at her disposal, Fantina's going to try and drop an infuriating Confuse Ray. I pivot in Pen to just take it quickly and switch back to Houdini, who can easily sweat off the magical leaf attack. Unfortunately, the very next turn, Houdini gets confused anyways, but breaks through and hits a Psybeam, triggering the Citrus Berry heal. The next turn, Miss Magius hits another weak magical leaf. And like a wizard, Houdini breaks through another confusion turn and sends Miss Magius to the red. Fantina heals but is sent back down to the orange with another miraculous Confuse Avoid. Finally, Houdini snaps out of it. At only 11 HP, puts the Miss Magius down. With the Hunter out now, I take the gamble that it's slower than Houdini, and I go for what I know would be a one-hit kill. It pays off, and the worst gym of the stretch so far is down. Again, not being super familiar with Sinnoh, I accidentally run into more without a battle plan. It was relatively uneventful with Houdini leading and putting in dangerous Psybeam work. I see this lonely looking Pikachu and decide to see what's up with that. This feels like a Chris Hansen type situation. I make my way to my next encounter, a wonderful little dude named Unknown. Sounds like fodder to me. It was an E unknown, so I name it Doc Eason, which is apparently a magician, according to Wikipedia. Having learned my lesson with the surprise rival fight, I research the upcoming trainers and see a nasty ace trainer duo up ahead. So I decide to head back and get my affairs in order before taking them on. During my backtracking, I find this delightful little side area, though that's not my Psyduck. That one is yellow. I start training Tom up, now that it's not an absolute essential that he has a psychic move. During this training, I realize that Espeon's probably my second favorite evolution. I get screwed by this double battle, nearly lose like 3 Pokemon from the f***ing Baneri that apparently has the worst trainer in the world because that frustration is really powerful. With my team finally ready for the next leg of the journey, I dispatch of the ace trainers blocking my path and keep heading off to Veilstone. Seeing that the Psychic TM was available for purchase at the game corner, I pour my money into coins and proceed to spend a long time gambling. It took me embarrassingly long to realize the gimmick with the Clefairy. After popping a Psychic on Tom the Espeon, finally getting him a Psychic type move, I decide the fighting gym really isn't going to be an issue and I don't even bother with maxing out my levels. The footage for that fight though, as well as making my way to Pastoria, is unavailable. I know I've already made the promise that I wasn't going to let this happen anymore. So the fighting gym was a joke. Pen is now a beautiful Gardevoir with bonkers special attack. I loaded her up with Shockwave knowing the water gym was next, and as I was walking up to Crash Awake, I realized Golduck is only water. Just out of curiosity, I didn't even bother leveling up. I just wanted to see if my team without Golduck was able to take him out. Pen swept the team, but I ended my journey there. I know that's an anticlimactic ending, but with the first level limit being 14 and Ever not evolving until 16, I just can't see any possible way that this challenge would be a legitimate possibility. Not at my skill level at least. Someone out there thinks that they can use an Abra with only Return and Teleport to make it through the first rock gym? Let me know. Otherwise, I'll have to leave it off here. I really am sorry I couldn't offer a more satisfying ending, but I'll try to put in better research for future videos before dedicating 25 hours of recording time to a pointless endeavor. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this journey anyways though. It was extremely enlightening and despite the outcome, super encouraging that with more research and a more viable challenge that I think I really do have the capacity to do challenge runs. I can't wait to keep providing this type of content for all of you. If there's anything you ever want to see, just leave it down below in the comments and I'll do whatever I can. And hopefully, if you enjoyed this video, I'll see you in the next one.